What is up, Internet Land? Zekim's Prime, aka Zekim's Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. Today, the figure that I'm going to be reviewing is the Moon Studios Cool Peak. This is the fifth in their Radiatron, Not Raiden series, and this one looks really, really good. Just the overall aesthetics of this one. The last couple figures that we reviewed were, specialized, like the main body and the lower body of the combined robot. This one is one that's going to turn into an arm, and so it's not like the other ones were really bad in terms of kibble, but it's less kibbly than them. More streamlined looking. The colors just look really, really good. And everything, every inch of this figure is painted, and all of that paint just looks good. This kind of lightly metallic flake, So you've got this metallic tan and metallic red, metallic black, metallic gray, just a hint of pearlescence to all of it. Really, really good looking. I know that it looks better in person than it does on the camera. The camera is not going to do it justice, unfortunately. But it just looks so good. In terms of accessories, he comes with his pistol, which is, again, molded all in black plastic, painted with that slight pearlescent flake. A red paint app on either side. Fits just like all the other ones. You've got a little tab on the hand and a slot in the handle. It will fit into either hand, and he holds that just fine. He comes with some sort of a wing assembly. Again, painted all in gray plastic, painted all in gray paint with red paint apps on either side. There's a joint here. So I believe that this is going to be part of, I think this is going to go on the back with another one on the back of the Raiden combiner and look cool. It also opens up if you position it so that the tab is next to these little indentations here. You can open it all the way. That peg just fits into those indentations, and there it is from the inside, all black plastic. Funny, there's some additional detail on here, like these kind of structural struts in here, and you can see some little conduits running through there. But overall, it's just mostly there to be the inverse of this. Looks pretty decent. Doesn't do anything in the robot mode. I believe that this is made primarily for combined mode, though you can mount it in the train mode. We'll get to that when we get to the train mode. He also comes with a set of magnetic couplings. These are exactly like all the other ones. I'm not really going to show how they work because I already showed how they worked on one of my previous ones, and they're all exactly the same. In terms of posability, he's got a ball joint up at the head, so allowing for some forward and back, side to side rotation just fine. You can make use of his transformation joints to give him a big tilt down or a big tilt up. That also works out quite well. His arms are on a swivel, go all the way around, goes out for the full tree pose. You've got a bicep swivel, single joint elbow for the full range. His hand is on a swivel. It's also, there's a transformation joint in here. And you can wiggle this back and forth to kind of curl in the hand a bit or curl it out. As you can see, it does not break the sculpt to do that. And so I would say that that works quite well as a posability joint if that's what you so desire. The hands are exactly the same, as they're the same posability and indeed the same sculpt as all the hands that we've seen in the line so far. So you've got a thumb That's on a ball joint and a pin. And 4 fingers, each postable with a ball point at the base knuckle and 1 mid-finger joint. So, decent amount of postability. Hands still look a little skeletal, kind of. The fingers just seem overly long and thin to me. I don't know exactly why. You've got a waist joint here. You can untab this tab here on the back to give him an ab crunch. One of the things that I think is super cool is that he stows his combiner part. You have to pull this out and reassemble it to get into the arm mode, which I'm not going to show here because I'm going to wait till we get everything before we start doing combined parts. But you can stow it all on the figure, which I think is really cool. So as I mentioned, ab crunch, which is not loose. It's not like super tight, but it's not loose. So that's good. Skirt armors, front, side, and back allow his legs to move that far forward on a ratchet, that far backwards. Goes out for the full Van Damme. You do have a thigh swivel in here. Be a little bit careful with this. This panel is all die cast, which is nice. Not sure offhand what else on this figure is die cast. I know that there is some. I'm trying to use Jabby's technique to suss it out. But I know the back of the combined hand is die cast, but I don't think that there's a whole bunch more die cast on this figure, unfortunately. Single joint knee for 90 degrees of bend. The ankle does not tilt forward and back. You don't really get any additional movement on this toe. You do get as much thigh swivel or pivot. Ankle pivot. Jeez, Zach. You get as much ankle pivot as you could want. And then some. You get more than you want. You get a lot of ankle pivot. But all in all, this figure is just nailing it. 100%. The black is on point. The tan is on point. The red stripes are on point. This is an internal detail. This is the actual outside of the thing. So it's got an internal paint app to match the outside so it doesn't look weird when you fold it over. The windows are this tinted gray plastic. They're tinted smoke clear plastic. And they all look really good. You even have, this is like faux pieces here on the hip skirts. Just all in all, it looks really good. Really well made product. To get this guy transformed up, we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So first thing I'm going to do is raise this up a bit so that we can get a good view of the front. We're going to start by opening up the chest, and we're going to spudger out these little panels right here and here. Close that back up. We're going to take his hand, curl it up into the standard posable hand stowage position. We're going to open up this panel here, fold it in, and then close the panel. We're going to disconnect this. There's 2 pegs that hold this panel into place here. You've got a peg here and a peg here. We're going to disconnect it from both of those. Actually, before we get too much farther, let's put the head forward on this like double joint here. And then you want to rotate these shoulder pylons 180 degrees. Now we'll disconnect this. With this panel disconnected, you can take and you can turn that little panel, the internal panel there. And then you want to spudger out this panel right here. that will allow you to fold this up. You can, there's a little black panel right here, and you want to pull that out. You want to bring this up part way and then pull out this little black panel right here. And now, when you bring it all together, that's going to work out for you in the long run. For the gray panels that's on top of, that's on the back of the arm here, you want to kind of pull them off like so. And you want to come around to the back side and open up this little panel right here. And then this one right here. This arm is going to rotate 180 degrees, and then you're going to put, come on. There we go. And then you're going to put this tab in that slot right there. And then we're going to quickly do the same with the other arm. I just showed you on this one, so I'm just going to rush through this one, hopefully not miss anything. Open this, fold that in, and close that. Open all this up. Flip out that panel. I know it's not on screen here. Flip out that panel. Flip out that panel so as you know I'm actually doing it. Bring this up part way. Flip that around. Budget this little guy out. Pull this panel out. Pull this panel out. Bring that all up and around. Now what you want to do is you want to disconnect this section here, and you've got two slots right here and two tabs right here. You're going to bring the tabs, bring them around. It helps if you fold these little panels in just ever so slightly. Plug those in, straighten these out. You can take this and bring it up on this double hinge around here and pull out the wheels, because why not? There are, of course, these little tabs in here that you can bring out. I'm not going to bring them out because it's kind of a pain in the ass. But you can do that, and it will lock these wheels into their outward position. Now, coming around to, you want to take this and rotate it, I believe. No, I think I'm wrong. We are going to lower the camera a bit. Though not that much. We're going to fold this guy out, bring this heel down, rotate this module out. That's going to kind of open everything up in here. That will allow you to, this knee is, so there's a slot that it slides straight into. And let me pull this one apart and see if I can kind of show you. You'll see there's a tab here. Focus, grasshopper. There's a tab here and a tab here. And then there's slots that you can see them on the inside of that. So when you're putting this in place, and you got to do it all blind because this panel has to be down, you're going to feel around until you start to slide into that and then kind of slide it into place. And yeah, I've been noticing that this hinge here seems to be putting the tiniest of divots in the knee there, but it's not a big issue. I say all this knowing that it's not technically my figure, so it's not an issue that would bother me. It may bother the guy who owns this, but it's been working well. Hasn't been chipping the paint here. Hasn't even been chipping the paint there, and you don't notice it in either mode, so I consider that to be a minor thing. But you want to Combiner Wars this up, and then you can take this and slide that back into place. You can take this and crank that around. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, that's what it was. You gotta bring this out on this little double joint. And then crank that around. And now this, you'll see this like little like inset here, like a tab, that's going to tuck underneath this tab here on the back of this armature. Like so. You're going to want to unpeg this, bring this out. You're going to want to bring this. Oh, I picked the wrong time to do this. I'm sorry, guys. There's like a bunch of steps to these all the time, and you got to kind of like preload all of the steps into your brain. And sometimes a step gets loaded in the wrong order. So you want to bring this panel out first. Otherwise you won't have the space. Now bring this into place. Double joint this out. Bring that around. Slide it into that point. Exactly all the stuff that we just did before. The connection underneath this tab is toit like a toiga, which is a reference that I understand now, having seen that movie recently. Bring this out on this double joint here. That will give you clearance to put that joint away, put the toe away, and you can fold out this, fold out this. This is going to come out till it pulls past this tab and clicks just a little bit, and then you're going to put it right back to where you got it and put it back into this position. And we're going to leave this sticking out like that because you'll want the clearance a little bit. And we're going to do all the same stuff on this other leg. So pull this out, pull this out, pull this up and out. Disconnect that, bring this out a bit. We're going to slide this back till it disconnects from that hinge, which will allow us to swing it wide to get this black little skirt out. Nothing like a black little skirt, right? Whoa. Whoa. That's right, YouTube is made for people over the age of 13. Alright, now we're going to put this back into place. Bring this guy out all the way. Slide it underneath that tab. Bring the wheel out, and then we're going to pay attention to this real quick by bringing that out. Bring this toe up and around and fold it in. Open up that, open up that. And then close this back down, rotate that in. Now we can bring these two together. There's a bunch of tabs. There's two big tabs here, two big tabs here, and then there's a couple big tabs right in here. And they pretty much all need to be as tight as you can make them, especially these ones on this armature. Because if those joints aren't tight, which I may end up actually pulling these out. So I can specifically squeeze that. Because if these guys aren't tight, then you will just never get the dovetails that hold the wheels together. You'll just never get those together. That's one. That's two. There we go. And then from here, you're just going to plug, do basic panel maintenance. There's going to be a tab here and a slot there. And on the other side as well. Line up all these skirt panels here. Take this guy here and plug it into, there's a tab right here. Focus, there's a tab right here and a tab right here. So you're going to plug this tab into that guy right there, and this tab into that guy right there. You got to kind of tuck this little tab in first, but that's super easy to do. And then do the same for the other side. You got to kind of steer that little panel around until it wants to plug into that. Then take and plug this in, plug that in. I have a little bit of tab issue on this one where this panel wants to catch on the edge of that panel, which is not a big problem at this point. We're still working on it all. I see what my problem is. There we go. And then last but not least, you just want to take this panel right here, bring it around, and that's just going to plug in right on top. And then last but certainly not least, you're going to take this, bring this up. It'll slide over on a double joint and plug in right there. And now you have Cool Peak in his vehicle mode. And he is, believe it or not, he's a train. Won't know specifically what kind of train, but he is definitely a train of some sort. That bugs me. That is the combiner port where the hand plugs into it. And I was playing around with it in hand mode because it looked cool and I wanted to get it figured out. And I apparently forgot to put this panel into place. But luckily that is not a huge offset. Plug that, plug both of those. There. Alrighty. Line that up properly. There we go. The train mode is also very good looking. It has connections on the front and the, I guess this is the back and the front for attaching these couplings. So this is all going to make one big long train when it's done, which is cool. Just with no track. You can take this panel here and split this open. You've got these two tabs right here and two slots right on top of these modules of whatever they are. And then you have storage. Admittedly, kind of ludicrous looking storage. I mean, it's not like this thing is going to like realistically fly around anywhere, but storage is storage. Oh, plus you can take this guy here and you can tab this into either of these little panels down here. And have more storage. Now, I don't know if that will clear a track. If you're putting it on a track, I understand that this vaguely, and I mean very vaguely, fits on a Duplo track, but it is not designed for a Duplo track by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm not sure if it'll clear that. I don't have any Duplo track, nor do I particularly care if it sits on track. I don't have the display space, even if I was collecting these, which I kind of wish that I really do wish that I was. I don't have the excess money for it, but if I did, I would be collecting these. But I don't have the excess track on my shelf to put, you know, a bunch of, or I don't have the excess space to put a bunch of tracks, so I wouldn't even be keen on that feature anyhow. I know that Takara is including length of track with each and every one of their train bots. So yeah, I don't know, maybe you can like put it on your mantle or something if you're in a house that has a fireplace. I have no idea. I don't even know what you do with that, to be honest. But there he is, Cool Peak. It's a great figure. Even just by itself, it's a great figure. And like I mentioned, I kind of played with the arm mode already, so it makes a pretty decent arm. But we'll get to that when we get to that, which is going to be, ooh, there's only one more figure to review. And it's coming out pretty damn soon. So we'll have a full robot sooner rather than later. And I'm looking forward to that. But anyhow, thanks everybody for watching. If you've watched all the way through to the end, you are amazing. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya. Bye.